4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment. 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level. Who will invest and who will be sent home with nothing? What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? I am your host, Kevin Hope. Let's do this. On this episode of Let's Do This, meet Shaqueed Benjamin of Red Rocket Records, a newly formed record label in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Tonight, we are focusing on the elements of pitching, how to pitch, what that pitch deck looks like, how to craft the investor ask, and we, look at doing some mini pitches. Not full-fledged pitches, but some mini pitches just to warm everyone up, etc. Because we're now in a group space, and so they will have feedback, there'll be critique, etc.
The training sessions they've assisted me in understanding a better way to put a business model together, outlining where your profitable markets would come from, where you need to attack, who you need to look at, what's the best way to get to that goal that you're trying to set for you and the company. Prior to this, I didn't know how to put a proper pitch together. I knew how to put a presentation, but not a pitch. So with the training, I was able to understand what are the key points that an investor would want to hear. For the final pitch, I'm hoping to get an investor because it would be helpful to the process that we've already started for the company. I wasn't nervous at first to register, but then after I found out it was gonna be on TV, that's when the nerves started kicking in. I'm definitely not ready. Hopefully, I'll be ready. I've been a musician since 2009. I learned my first instrument from my dad, that was steel pan. And as I journeyed along the years through school, the music just kept following me. I took a break for a point, but that was just to focus on another passion, which was IT. So I'm now finding a way to combine both music and IT to produce this platform. The name of my business is Red Rocket Records. The idea that we're on right now, it came out of the need for more development in the music industry in St. Kitts and in the Caribbean. What we're doing is we're trying to create an environment that creatives can come, so artists, producers, and just have the freedom to work and produce their content so that they can be profitable. I'm hardworking, as everyone says, but the company that I'm starting, it's a project that I've been working on for a few years. I'm passionate about it. I think we started initially working on it about maybe 5-7 years ago. So it's a long process we've been doing just to make sure we have everything in order. Most of our setbacks come from funding. It's difficult to fulfill the entire vision that we want without having all of the assets that we would need. So the investors, just bear in mind, it's a project that you may not see it happening regularly in the Caribbean based on all of the services that we're providing and what we're trying to do for the industry. It's not something that you would really see happening and find persons who are definitely passionate about it, especially based in the Caribbean.
The pitch room, where a panel of seasoned investors can take one's future to new heights. Will their pitches appeal to the panel and go on to soar above the clouds? Or will they remain in the sea of endless dreams? These are our investors. Daniel Arterton, an experienced business consultant and farmer at the Nevis Hydro Gardens. Cashmin Hope, an energetic business sales manager at the Cable. Giselle Matthews, a pioneer in her own right and the owner and managing director of the Harper's Business Depot. Amir Sabnani, the no-nonsense general manager of Rams Trading Limited.
Benjamin. I am the founder and CEO of Red Rocket Records. We are a production company and management agency. As a musician, I was able to do proper research, investigate, and find out what are the problems being faced in the music industry at this moment. And what we found, producers and other creatives in the Caribbean, they have issues when it comes to having somewhere that is Caribbean-based to promote their music. They tend to have to go overseas to the different US territories and European countries. Most don't have an understanding, a proper understanding of the music business and what they need to do. They don't have a step-by-step guide. They don't have anyone there who is in the industry already to understand where they need to go and how they'll get there. To combat these problems, we propose these solutions. We are creating an incubator where we'll foster growth, promote networking amongst the persons that we do bring to our community. We provide a variety of services that allow for individuals to develop and profit from their talents. Our prices, they fit in the margin where we're not too expensive and we're not too cheap, so we're able to still make a profit. We promote creatives. We have developed a web-based platform where producers will now be able to upload their beats and have it streamed and played around and be able to lease or sell these beats that they produce. Here we have an outline of our incubator that we are planning to launch within the next few months. As you can see in the work area, this will mainly be for production. So producers will come here, artists, they will come here and they will work on their music. Coming over, we have a recording booth where they will be able to record their songs. Just a little way across, there's a live studio where persons will be able to whether have band practice or if there's a live arrangement needed for a particular song. Here we will have storage, which will just be for our personal equipment. So here we have a better outline of how the areas are. For the production area, it will be about 4 workstations. Here we just have 2, just for an idea. The market size. Currently, these are the figures based on statistics that have been released of the music industry in the various regions. We have 25 million where the Caribbean music industry is currently valued. We have 12 billion where the Americas, in North, South, Central, Latin America, and 25.9 billion where the world is currently valued in the music industry. So what does that mean for us? We have found that there are few competitors who are providing the services that we have. There's room for us to increase or expand the music industry in the Caribbean. By creating this new platform that we have, we are creating new ways for persons to look at the music industry and not just think that, okay, we have to go out to the US or to Europe to have beats produced or promote our content. And when doing so, we are hoping to become a leading platform and leave a mark for the Caribbean music. So we would be looking at more mentorship as well as marketing strategies, merchandising, and these cases. Most of our competitors that we've found around the Caribbean or even here in St. Kitts, they're not online in the sense of having a web-based platform. They may have a few social media pages, but nothing there that they can say they have traction and persons that are coming to them. We offer studio rental, production, career development, our beats library, which will be a part of our platform, and live accompaniment, which is a band that is a part of the label. How will we make money? Subscription. Artists and producers that use our beats library to upload their content, they will be paying a monthly subscription fee, which we would then receive, and also from any sales that the producers make from the beats, we get a percentage out of that sale. Management services that we provide to artists, we take a 20% cut. In addition to that, any music that we produce for the artists, we become producers which we have been speaking to and confirmed at least 3 of them at this moment. Production services, so this will be songwriting, song editing, mixing, mastering, the whole shebang in getting the music together. We have recently signed 2 artists to our label. We've been subcontracted by another management agency to provide some of our career development services. And we are asking for $55,000 with EC, which will go into the expansion of the studio and our operational facility. At the moment, we do have some equipment, but we want to expand on what we already have and increase and create a better environment. And some of it will also go into marketing because we need to get our name out there even more than where it is at the moment. Thank you.
Coming up next on Let's do this.
What was the cost? What sort of expenditure then? Since you can't give me the revenue.
Second, apart from expenses, I need to know, revenue, past revenue, revenue projections.
We're projecting for the next 3 years to be making 20 million, but for me,
Wow.
I'm thinking about that. It's possible.
Haven't seen a real record in a long time. Maybe you'll have a few hanging on the wall in your studio.
Definitely.
You have a location in mind?
Yes, currently the location that we have is at camps.
The camps.
So that's where we're doing our work right now.
So you currently, the idea is to refit that current location or fit it?
To look exactly like how we have it here. The person we actually got the facility from, he's a family member to some of our team members, and we know him from experience, and we were able to sign a contract with him based on his suggestion, where we would just cover the utilities.
Okay.
So because he originally had a different plan for it, he allowed us to use the tools and different materials that he had for this area.
And the cost to do that?
It's mainly labor. Some of us have experience in construction, so we're doing it.
But the 55,000 would outfit your facility? I mean,
It
what
would.
that would
Our
go to what?
The equipment currently costs between 40 to 50,000 easy, and the rest some would go into marketing and other legal stuff that we might need to get done in the future.
Do you intend to go international, or it's just local and regional?
We have plans to go international, but the whole idea is to remain Caribbean-based, because there aren't any management or record labels that do that. Most of them may start here, but they go international. But we want to leave our mark on the international scene as well, but physically be based here in the Caribbean.
Okay. Now, on the expenses side, your expenses, it's quite marginal right now, very small.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the 11 teammates that you have, it's just an arrangement, because
we sign contracts, and the contracts agree that at this moment it's voluntary based. We have plans to review the contracts once we see their profits coming in, and each person is aware of that. I wasn't actually the one that made that suggestion about the voluntary, but it was them who came to me and made that suggestion, because they themselves are also passionate about the music industry and what we're doing, knowing that we're mostly musicians in it.
And how long do you think you could continue this volunteerism? What about yourself?
For me personally, I don't want to do it much longer in terms of volunteering, because I believe in paying persons for the service that they put in. So for me, I'm hoping, my CEO actually, we spoke, and he suggested to me that we're projecting for the next 3 years to be making 20 million. But for me,
wow.
I'm thinking about that. It's possible, but knowing the type of work that we push it might not be the ideal number that we could set.
I need to get to a granular level, because a lot of the stuff that I'm getting from you veiled, to say it mildly. My question to you is that in the last 6 months, how much revenue have you generated?
We were really functioning as just individuals coming together, but last year we started getting everything together and putting all of these things together, putting a proper outline on the services that we're offering. But I can't give you that number, because it wouldn't be clear or accurate, because it's not like something we have been doing set for the past 6 months.
But I must have a basis. I must have the fundamentals of business is that you would have expended money to do a number of things, whether to upgrade the building or what. What was the cost? What sort of expenditure then? Since you can't give me the revenue, what sort of expenditure have you've done in total from you and your other colleagues?
The main expenditure we've had is just for the website hosting and the business license. We haven't had to pay these figures yet.
So on a monthly basis, how much money
would it cost?
do you think you can make?
Can make, okay. Being with the...
Based on your history.
Okay, looking at us having...
Based on the amount of local artists we have.
Yeah, the thing about it is the problem with just saying we're going to focus on local artists is sometimes it's difficult to get the local artists, which is why we're doing regional.
Let me get to the point for me. In order for me to invest, I have to know, separate apart from expenses, I need to know, you know, revenue, past revenue, revenue projections. At this current moment, you cannot give me that. So I'll have to opt out of this opportunity and leave it to the rest of the investors.
Coming up on Let's Do This.
So why has nobody used that room from August last year until now?
You have a lot of potential. I like your presentation. I like the name of the company. It's certainly very viable in the long run.
How many artists have used that room, that space, to date?
We've had about 4 that come through.
Those 4 artists, how much revenue did you generate from them using that room?
Okay. Well, from each artist, it would have been the same $150 that we would have charged just to book the room, and then the $50 per hour. On average, most artists would have spent about 2 hours.
There you go. There's your revenue.
Is that US or you said
Yes, US.
Right. So your revenue is $150 for booking. Every artist would have spent on average $100. You have 4 artists. That's 4 booking fees. So that's, I'm on camera here. That's $750 plus $100 each, right? So you're looking at just over $1,000 in revenue. In what time frame?
That would have been over 2 months, but not directly 2 months, but it would have been, some would have happened in 1 month.
When was that?
It would have been around between August to September last year.
And what has happened between then and now?
Then and now, we have formed the company. We don't directly work with those artists. Only one of them we are working with at the moment, including the 2 that we know have recently.
Is that room still operational?
Yeah.
So why has nobody used that room from August last year until now?
That would have been because we were taking the opportunity to get everything in order for the company.
Why you take your business offline while you do framework?
It wasn't necessarily taken, well, not necessarily taken offline, but because we wanted to like relaunch the company.
No.
Okay, well, I'll just follow Kashmeen's lead there and say, based on information that I have, I also have to opt out.
Well, for me, I'm learning as I go along in about the music industry, but what I would say to you is, I think, whether you're approaching a panel like ourselves, potential investors, or whether it's a financial institution, a bank locally, or otherwise, I think what you guys need is to be able to present some more data, real data, tangible data. You're very new in this. I see you still currently have a job, a day job, which pays you a salary, so that's probably why you are not hungry enough, because sometimes you got to get really hungry to push hard. And so I think that you have a lot of potential. I like your presentation. I like the name of the company, the name of the... I think what you want to do is certainly very viable in the long run. To catch a fish, you need to sort of go back to the drawing board, really get yourselves together, get people coming in to record, utilizing it as a recording studio first. I mean, you got to look at where's the money. You want to do mentorship and all those things eventually, but you can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar, but first you got to make the dollar. I think you're definitely onto something. I just believe and feel that's where you need to go with this. Go back to the drawing board.
Danny's going to take the deal.
Back to the drawing board for me.
So without burdening you, my area of competence puts me in a very incompetent sphere. So I can be of no help other than advice on the fundamentals of business.
I think Danny has been hired.
Huh?
I think you've been hired as the business development
For Red Rocket. I'm totally ignorant to the entertainment music industry in St. Kitts. But here's the two things that scared me away from this. 5 to 10 production houses. What's on the artist side of that in terms of supply for these production houses? 20, 25, 30 artists? How many songs do they record a year? 5? We produce 100 songs locally, maybe, as a federation a year. Between 10 studios at $150 a session. I'm not sure we have the scale for this.
No, but I think one of the problems that would cause that number to be an actual number is because speaking with some artists, one of the problems that they find is they don't want to deal with both the business and the music. They want someone to be able to assist them there, and that's one of the things that we're doing.
The scale is still the same. It's still how many artists and how many events that you could benefit from royalties on a year, and how many people on your team that have to eat from this endeavor.
It's a pipeline. You can always go back, get the necessary information, and come back and do a pitch. We'll be more than happy to welcome you and hear you out again.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet. Best of luck.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for your presentation.
All the best,
See you
bro.
again.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Overall, I was a little bit disappointed. I expected a little bit more as an investor. You know, you would like to see more on the projections. You would like to know more on the market research type of things because it's a new business, and I did not get that in his presentation.
His presentation was the format was well laid out. His downfall really was that as a potential investor or a financial institution looking at this sort of entity, they want more meat, they need more information. It's very new, it's 2021 launched, and so obviously it doesn't really have a history to show of revenue potential.
All that needs happening here is some refinements with respect to how it is really properly put together.
You know, I guess for me, when you're going to a bank for a loan, there's a lot of things you have to present. So as an investor, there's an expectation that you would come with the necessities, and I did not get that from Red Rocket. I'm so sorry.
I think that in a population of 50,000 people with 10 recording studios, as the gentleman mentioned, the market size is already quite saturated for a business like that. And I'm not sure that the expertise and experience of those 8 people would lead to any competitive advantage over the other currently existing ones. And I don't know who the currently other existing ones are.
The beauty about this is that this is a young person who has time on his side and who can refine this concept. I think this is something that is very workable. It's needed around here. It's always good to be the person who starts something.
I don't see it as a failure. I see it as going back to the drawing board, coming back, and then from there building. But I think it has potential, definitely has potential.
I love Shaqueed's approach. Investors have their own preferences when it comes to their investment portfolio, what they will back. And of course, there will be few investors, if any, who will put their money behind entrepreneurs who are in industries that they have little knowledge about. I think that is what Shaqueed faced when he came up against the investors. When we first met in our group sessions, Shaqueed's business model was not particularly clear. And so we were able to work on the idea of packages in terms of his service offerings and to really increase the number of revenue streams in his revenue model package. And I believe just having that understanding that there are many ways to make money from the venture that Red Rocket, I think that showed a lot of growth, and he was very open to taking those suggestions.
It was a learning experience, so I was able to learn where I need to make changes and what factors am I missing in order to be successful. The feedback from the investors, well, they told me to shreds, but it was advice that I'm definitely going to use and somehow implement it better into the company that, as we progress. There's nothing wrong with getting a no. You're not ready, but keep working at it and someday you'll be ready.